reason that Mr. Higgins did not face death in this case is because Mike Naylor's widow, Denise Naylor, who's here today, gave him the biggest gift that I think anybody could give, and that is that she asked us not to seek the death penalty. And she had her reasons for not wanting us to seek the death penalty. She took into consideration the length of time that a case, once a defendant is found guilty of capital murder, the length of time it takes to get through the appellate process, possibility of there being a case reversed and having to be retried on a technicality. And she also took into consideration that Mr. Higgins will now spend his time in general population rather than on death row in a single cell by himself for the rest of his life. I don't know if Mr. Higgins truly appreciates what Denise Naylor did for him, but he was given a gift, and it was only after consulting with the sheriff and Denise that we decided not to pursue a death sentence in this case. Had it not been for Denise's request, we would have sought death. I think that Mr. Higgins was death worthy. And by that I mean I believe that a Midland jury, or any jury in the state of Texas, once they heard of his background, the heinousness of the capital case, the continuous sexual abuse of a child case, and his other criminal history, would have sentenced him to death. But in keeping with the wishes of Mrs. Naylor, we opted to give him the gift that she wanted him to have.
Midland County inmate 273511 will serve his time in a state penitentiary for the rest of his life. I think saving the county money, saving the heartache for the families involved, was the best solution for this particular case. The Midland County Sheriff's Office not only lost a brother and a friend, this county lost a great employee. And the citizens of this county that came out and helped us is amazing, and we are deeply, deeply appreciative of everything that they did. Only time right now can help settle the feelings that most of us have. The situation that occurred on that day in October was one of the most horrible and drastic, terrible things that I've ever seen that has happened in this county. Devastation was all around the sheriff's office, law enforcement circles, law enforcement from all over this nation sent information, they sent letters, they sent cards. School students in Midland, in Odessa, went out of their way to do some of the nicest and most wonderful cards and letters and placards. They did a super job, just acknowledging their love for Mike and for the sheriff's office and the people of this county. But Midland County inmate 273511 will leave this county and never, never come back. His devastation is over. When he arrives in the state system, he'll be introduced to a different kind of housing, a different kind of how you eat meals, how you go through your day-to-day routine. And he'll be assigned another number, a number that will stay with him the rest of his life. I am deeply appreciative of District Attorney Clingman, for their staff, for the work that they put into this case. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. The Midland Police Department for coming out, stepping in when we needed help. The Texas Rangers, every Texas Ranger in Company E stepped up. They came out and conducted the investigation. We were overwhelmed with the outpouring of love, concern for the guys that were in the incident, that got into the fight and got out of it. And we are deeply proud of the deputies that we have in the Midland County Sheriff's Office, in the work that they do, with the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force, with the United States Marshal's Office for the Western District of Texas. I met with the Marshal yesterday, and I told him that I appreciated all the help that they gave. They do a wonderful job. Marshal Robert Almonte is one of the finest marshals I've ever had dealings with in the Western District. We are thankful that this is over. Inmate 273511 will never, ever set foot on free ground again. We don't forget. The love for Mike and his family is still there, and that'll never go away. We won't forget that.
So where is he being taken?
He'll be going to the state penitentiary. They have a special unit for people that are on life without parole.
No, I don't know if this is protocol, but he expressed as to why you're referring to him by the number rather than his name.
I understand the need for the press to use his name. That rotten bastard doesn't deserve it. He's a number. He's not human. In my eyes. What he did, no person should do something like that and then get recognition. I don't believe in that. He's a number, and in my mind, he'll always be a number. As far as I'm concerned, he's done.
One thing I wanted to add is that the sheriff is right. Nothing that Mr. Higgins did causes him to deserve the gift he's been given of a life sentence. But what I want you to all think about is that these men that work in law enforcement go out every single day, just like Mike did. When they leave the house, they expect to come home. Sometimes they don't. And we as citizens need to keep in mind they lay down their lives for us and put their lives on the line every single day. And we don't take enough time to be thankful for what they do for us. And we should. And it sounds trite to say, you know, sometime just tell them thank you. Tell them thank you for protecting our streets, for protecting our families, because they don't get thanked enough. And it shouldn't be that we have to have tragedy such as the death of Mike Naylor to remind us just to say thanks. That's all I've got to say.
Ms. Clingman, may I ask one more question?
Yes.
Did Dan Higgins express any sort of remorse for what he did at any point in time?
When he was arrested, he made the comment to one of the Texas Rangers, I believe, that to the effect of, you know, sorry, fella, I killed one of your own, or I know this is one of your own. If you want to call that an expression of remorse, you can. I don't. In the courtroom yesterday, He was crying tears, sobbing for himself. He wasn't crying because of what he did. He was crying because I think it finally hit him that he's never going to drive a car again. He's never going to go to a fast food restaurant again. And my sentiments are with the sheriff. He doesn't deserve to. And if he's sobbing and crying, those tears are for himself. No one can look into his mind and his heart and know if he ever has any remorse. But beyond that one sort of semi-statement, I'm not aware of him ever expressing any remorse. And I can also tell you in my observing of him yesterday, he sobbed when Denise Naylor gave her victim impact statement. But when there were law enforcement officers on that stand, I didn't see him sobbing. I didn't see anything that indicated that he had any kind of empathy for them and what he was expecting. That's my observation. I can't look in his heart.